Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 134 of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr. Rhino. How are you?
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Doing great. It's a great day today.
Glad to hear it. Mr. Nello, what's up? How are you?
I'm just excited. Nothing can get me down.
Glad to hear it. Well, Ryan is en route and will join us when he gets here. But let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Sorry we were not here yesterday on the typical Monday evening, Tuesday morning release, but, you know, life happens. But here we are. And I think it was the most amazing coincidence that we decided not to record yesterday, because we got the bombshell literally today, this afternoon. Finally, DC has released something tangible. Who knows what it's going to turn into or what is actually going to develop. But DC finally showed up and addressed the future of no longer the DCEU. It is now the DCU.
Very excited.
It's very exciting. A lot of things have been dropped, and it is not what it's not what you expect. Personally, it wasn't what I expected. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about geared hardware. These rugged yet stylish watches are the perfect accessory for any man who's always on the go, whether it's a board meeting or a bar fight. Made with high quality materials and backed up by a lifetime warranty, you can rest assured your geared watch will be there for you when you need it most. Go to www.gearedhardware.com and use promo code ALTEREGO20 to get 20% off your order.
If I may.
Yeah, you may.
No bullshit.
No bullshit. Real watches, no bullshit.
Yep.
Let's get into some TV and movies, shall we? Interesting things happening in the TV front. Probably the most interesting thing right now happening being The Last of Us.
Yes.
That's been a really, really big show lately. Big episode came yesterday, which changed the lore from the game. Not changed the lore per se, that's incorrect to say, but changed the story of the game. It didn't go directly as the game has, and it focused mainly on Nick Offerman's character of Bill and his partner Frank, who are featured in the first Last of Us game, but were the subject matter of this episode, if you ask me. I mean,
big time. Big time. And sorry. I was going to say, I'm okay with them altering the storyline a little bit, just because the Last of Us crowd isn't big enough to justify going word for word with the game.
Game of the Year crowd isn't big enough?
No. Especially when you're talking about HBO and TV series in a wider audience. When you're talking about people who play video games, sure, Game of the Year is great, but it's like having the best avocado at the avocado festival. Sure, the people who like avocados give a shit, but everybody else didn't really know. I agree with you, and they had a comment in the after the episode bit that said, "We deviate when it adds value," or something along those lines. And I really appreciated that comment, because them changing the content you get in the game, it literally made it 1,000 times more important, in my opinion. Did a lot of good storytelling. It showed what life for some people could be like still in the apocalypse, right?
I actually saw a TikTok today that said that there was a guy that's like, I am so disappointed in this episode. And I was like, here we go. Some guy's going to bitch about it. And he goes, I'm upset that we're not getting an entire spin-off series based off of these two guys.
I don't know.
And I mean, that might be a little bit much, but at the same time, like, that story in episode 3 was so good that you could fill a couple episodes worth of that particular content. Like you said, where you're seeing what life is like post-apocalypse.
Yeah,
that's how good the story was.
I've seen a lot of mixed reviews though. Like, people who are like the Game of the Year type guys are like, if you're either gonna go one side or the other, but like, don't play us in the middle with new yet still following the Lord. You get from the people I've talked to and what I've read on the internet.
I mean, that's what do you want? What do you want? You know, that goes back to, what do you want? Do you want them to change the whole thing? Do you want them to keep it shot for shot of a video game? I think for what we have, beggars can't be choosers. And those people who are saying that the video game, the show should be exactly like the video game, then what's the point of watching the show?
Go back and play the video game.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my comment to those folks is like, why would you want the exact? We talked about this with the MCU time and time again. Are there stories that we want told? Yes. Do they have to be told verbatim? No. Especially because it keeps you on your toes. I don't want to go there and say, I know this story, and then go and walk out of the theater and go, yep, that's everything I thought it was going to be. Shot for shot. You know what I mean?
You're sitting there and you're like, oh, I bet this happens next. Oh, hey, when he comes around this corner, this is going to happen.
Right. And that just to me was, I don't know. I think Nick Offerman definitely proved that he could carry an entire show by himself.
But this episode, from what I've read, has proven that like they keep like these past 3 episodes better for the most. But for the people who are the game guys, I've just seen them keep complaining the more the show goes on. But like you said, it's what you want. Do you want the game in action, or do you want to actually see something that's different?
Yeah, the game guys, I don't care. I don't care about them being happy about this, because this is not a video game. This is TV. This is storytelling. And the video game also adds an element because you can do what you want as the player. They don't have that luxury of doing the show exactly like each individual player wants to do in the game.
I think it's too early to judge either way. Personally, it's only been 3 episodes. Let's like get a couple, see where it's actually going, right?
Well, first of all, it's already been renewed for season 2. Last of Us has. So it's 2 episodes in. Last week was, what did we say? Rhino, was it the second most viewed premiere on HBO?
The premiere was the second most viewed premiere in the last 10 years, but then episode 2 had a 22% bump in viewership, which is the biggest HBO Max had ever experienced.
Right. I mean, that's because people like me were going to everybody they know and going, have you watched this show? Have you watched?
And there's a reason why you did that, because this show wasn't made for the video game crowd. The show was made for the television crowd.
Right. So, I mean, again, I thought it was great. There was some stuff in there that just like any TV show of all time, I could live without. But watching the traps and watching him hide from the thugs and all the stuff that he did, without too many spoilers, of course, that was great. But watching the relationship between those two, I thought was really just like, how do you still find love and survive in the apocalypse? And I thought they did that pretty perfectly.
Episode 3 still got 12% this week.
The thing that I thought was done perfectly is the fact, we've seen this in premiere series before. The one that comes to mind is Boba Fett, where they had a couple episodes.
Who's
Boba Fett. That series comes to mind where we had a couple episodes that was Mando driven, and it was kind of like you're sitting there like, why is he here? Why is he getting so much screen time? Well, what they did perfectly was they did something that was not necessarily completely unrelated, because we saw the relationship with Joel and these two gentlemen, but they didn't really move the actual story a whole lot, but it was done perfectly. A lot of times when you see that, it's like, oh, why are we spending so much time on somebody who's not as important to the storyline as the main characters? Yeah. This was one of those moments, but they did it perfectly.
To me, I think Last of Us did it better than Boba Fett did. I mean, I get 2 different stories, 2 different universes, but I felt like everything they've done that deviates from Joel and Ellie has added tremendous value to the overall universe.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, Boba Fett tried doing it, they didn't do it well. This one did it perfectly.
Yeah, for sure.
I am a little curious to see how they're going to do some of these like zombies or whatever you want to call them later on down the show. To pull off some of these big spore things and stuff that they did in the game, their adaptation into live action, I am curious to see what that will look like.
Yeah, well, I mean, the amount of money that has gone into these shows. Yeah. I forget what it is. I want to think it's like 10 million an episode or something ridiculous.
Some of these shows are getting like movie budgets.
Well, they're movie length. I mean, this was an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that I guess deserves, if you want to keep the quality throughout, it deserves to be what it was. So I don't know. I'm excited for the rest of this series. I'm excited to see where it goes. Something I haven't seen, but I want to see, Violent Night. Apparently Violent Night 2 is already in production.
It's you if you were Santa.
There's so many people that have told me that.
It's serious. No, it is. It's you if you were Santa. I'm serious.
I had somebody message me that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and they were like, "Dude, please go watch Violent Night. It is literally you if you're Santa."
Well, you if you were Santa and you had a little bit of a drinking problem, but still, nevertheless.
Yeah, no, I don't have a drinking problem. No. Here's the thing. I'm excited for this. I think it's cool. One thing that I wish Hollywood would get away from is the massive cash cow of successful movies getting immediate sequels.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, like, give it time to breathe. Give it time to be its own thing. You don't have to release a movie and then immediately give me the second one.
Isn't it strike the iron while it's hot?
I get strike while the iron's hot, but goddamn, if your food's going to taste like shit or your steel's not going to be as sharp, then why would you do that? Does that make sense?
I agree 100%. No, I agree 100%. It's probably something they should have waited a year or two on.
I mean, why not?
What's the last sequel you watched that you're like, God damn, it's so much better than the first?
Never. So I don't watch sequels for that particular reason, and I have never been wrong. When I look at stuff like this, like I know it's a different genre, but Coming to America 2, I will not watch it. It's just there's nothing there for me.
I will die on this hill. Lethal Weapon 4 is the best Lethal Weapon.
Is that Jet Li?
That's a
Jet Li, Chris Rock.
Not
but it's still it's still a sequel in the line of succession, though.
But Lethal Weapon 2, would you put it up there next to Lethal Weapon 1?
I mean,
Lethal Weapon 2 is very quality movie, though. It's a very quality movie. It's not like a shit sequel. It's not as good as 1, but
yes,
Empire
that's
is good, though, right?
Welcome, Ryan. By the way,
yeah.
But why? I don't get it. You didn't answer the question. Is Lethal Weapon 2 as good as Lethal Weapon 1?
Rocky 2. I mean, Rocky 2 is
not as
Rocky 2 is not as good as 1. One motion picture of the year.
Listen, The Mighty Ducks 2 is way better than the first one.
There we go. He steps in from the fucking mezzanines and drops that pearl of fucking wisdom on us. Yeah. That's it, dude. Just sign off. Just sign off and go back home.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
I just, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I actually agree with Nello on that. Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie that's ever been made.
And then Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, great. I just, I don't think sequels hit that often. We were able to name 2.
Yeah, they normally don't.
I mean, they just don't do well, especially when you do them immediately after. There's no way there's a Violent Night 2 already written.
Thor 2, Thor Dark World.
Dark World was good.
Did we get Go Ninja in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2?
Yes, we did.
See, that's also another good sequel.
Winter Soldier.
I mean, it's objective, by the way. I mean, this is not
Go Ninja.
Nope. Yeah, I don't think so. But whatever, good for them. I love David Harbour. I loved his Hellboy, so hey, I'll watch it eventually. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once got 11 Oscar nominations. Has anyone?
I have got to watch it. No, I have not seen it yet.
Don't even know what you're watching.
It's a movie with. It's not. Oh my god!
It's the woman from Shang-Chi. She played the aunt in Shang-Chi.
She's like one of the most legendary Chinese actresses of all time. I can't remember.
It is the aunt from Shang-Chi, right? Because before we publish this,
she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That chick. Yeah, that chick's been in a lot of those movies.
Yeah, she's Michelle Yeoh. I want to say Michelle Yeoh, but I didn't want to get it incorrect. Michelle Yeoh, yeah, she has been in so much, and this was like apparently the best role ever for her.
What is this movie
Everything,
about?
Everywhere, All at Once, Tomorrow Never Dies, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Crazy Rich Asians, just to name what's on the top of her IMDb. This movie is about like different, if I'm not mistaken, different versions of her living in different realities and somehow connecting. It's
a multiverse movie.
It is, but it's just, I don't know. It just looks wild, and everyone that I've heard of that's seen it has nothing but stellar reviews for it. Middle-aged Chinese immigrant is swept up into an insane adventure in which she alone can save existence by exploring other universes and connecting with the lives she could have led.
And there's Kung Fu.
Well, I don't think that's the prominent element, but yeah, there is Kung Fu for sure. Huh. Good for them.
I guess.
Let's move on into gaming. I don't have much more for movies. So there have been a lot of. I still haven't seen Avatar: Way of Water.
Before we get out of this,
it moved into number 4.
Rush Hour 2, hands down. Better than the original.
Okay, he's got a good one too.
I mean,
What? Rush Hour 2 is better.
okay.
Next Friday.
No,
that is absolutely not.
I enjoyed Next Friday.
Not nearly as good as Friday.
I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to watching the Friday movies, I do prefer Next Friday over the original Friday.
Ayo.
Mike Epps just kills his role, dude.
Yeah, he does.
Brokeback Mountain 2.
The Dark Knight.
Brokeback. Well, that's so that's kind of a different one for me. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they all further the plot somehow, but that one is it's meant to be a continuous story told and adding more and more. I guess I'm being a bit of a hypocrite in saying that, but like some of these don't need to happen, right? No, I mean, because in The Violent Night, you've got Santa beating up mercenaries. There's no universe that needs to be expanded on in that particular instance.
No, that is the moral of the story. If it's not an ongoing storyline that's meant to be a trilogy, then don't make it a trilogy.
Would you consider the second Lord of the Rings movie better?
I would put that in the same thing. You're still telling the same story.
Okay.
So no, I wouldn't consider that a sequel.
That's kind of why I didn't bring up John Wick either. I'm like, hey.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these are stories that were brought to the forefront.
But that was not better than the first one, though.
Nobody was like, what?
No, it wasn't
Two Towers?
One, but I mean, it was.
No. John Wick 2 was not better than 1.
I was about to.
No, I don't. I agree.
It's not a bad.
It's not a bad sequel, but it's not as bad as 1.
Two Towers is the only Lord of the Rings I've ever seen in my life.
What?
They're good. They're all good. The Hobbit is a better series and a better book, in my opinion. My humblest of opinions.
Well, your humble opinion might be a little incorrect on this one.
It's an opinion. So
it's an opinion.
Yeah. I know.
Let's move into gaming, shall we? Tomb Raider getting a TV series over at Amazon. What do we think? Is that one that needs a series?
Why?
Recycled. It's recycled shit. That's all it is recycled shit.
Why?
Angelina Jolie movies and the other chick. I mean, what do we need, a TV show now?
Why are we still following the Lara Croft story? Is this something that needs to be retold? And this isn't about it being a female. It's just about, like, well, what's the big story? She goes into these tombs. She doesn't die from the booby traps, and she gets out with the treasure and maybe shoots a few people.
There's only one archaeologist people give a crap about, and that's Indiana Jones.
You mean Alan Grant?
Indiana Jones.
You said archaeologist.
Well, isn't that what Indiana Jones is?
Alan Grant's a paleontologist.
Damn it, Ryan. Why didn't you back me up on that one?
I was right.
Yes, you were right.
Yes, you were.
Shockingly enough.
First time for everything. Call of Duty bringing back hardcore mode in season 2. Will that save the Call of Duty in its current state?
There's about this much of me that wants to download that game again just to have my heart broken. But that was the game mode I played more than anything, was hardcore, just because it's a couple bullets instead of getting shooting somebody 48 times.
Hardcore always felt more real.
I've been getting hit with a shotgun. Boom.
Yep.
Or looking in the same place for 10 seconds, and the moment you turn is the moment somebody comes around that corner.
Yep.
No, I don't think that'll save it. I think this Warzone's it's done. They have to do something about Warzone in order to save that game.
This is so funny because Warzone was the cultural phenomenon like 3 years ago.
It's broken.
Yeah. So the only thing that's going to save that game is now that they've decided to go to making a new one every 2 years. That'll be what saves that game. If they actually put the time and effort into it over a 2-year jump instead of 1, then we'll get a good Call of Duty.
Yeah, and there's my thing that drives me crazy.
You got big hopes there. I don't see it happening.
I was gonna say I don't think that's gonna be the case now, because now it's done by just Activision and one studio, whereas they used to take their time and they would rotate. So each team actually ended up having almost 3 years to develop their Call of Duty, instead of now just 2 years.
Well, it's a cash cow at this point. That's why you're not going to get any time to wait and delay for quality. It's going to be about quantity. When can we get the new one out and tell everybody?
It's like EA.
These are things that we've improved, and pay all the big streamers to play our game, and then release the same turd after we've gotten our millions and millions of dollars to fund the next great heist.
Like EA. Like every EA sports game, Madden is the same turd released
same game.
over and over.
It's the same game, and they've only made defense worse and worse and worse every year.
See, and that's the thing. It's like you could make a game good, and nowadays we're used to getting things pushed back and just waiting and not necessarily getting stuff on time as is anyway. You keep giving us like these beta, pretty much tested games, and we're the tester.
Yep.
Why don't you just wait?
And we're
Make a
paying
great
to be
game.
the tester too.
Yeah.
Or just
In this
release
current-
a finished game.
In the current model, we as players are paying to be the tester of their video games before they even release.
And I'm
Well,
throwing
that's
to the listeners, if you guys want to help me out, I'm thinking about filing a lawsuit against Activision. I want to bring back Caldera. Bring back Verdansk, damn it. I'm suing. I want all the money I spent on freaking skins, and I want to play that game again.
Give me all my money back and the game
Yep.
that I want.
One of the guys
I'm
I play with also complained that he couldn't bring his stuff from the last Warzone
Yeah, I mean, that
over to
sucks,
this
bro.
one. Like, I spent all this money for this crap, and I can't even play it in this one. What's the
'cause
point?
I'm livid, bro. Like I didn't realize that was a thing, and had I known that, I would have never spent the money.
Why would you
You're
buy?
talking about
Exactly.
skins that are almost $25 a piece, bro.
20,
Sure.
$25 a pop.
Are people still playing
depending what they are.
Warzone 1?
No,
They
you
can't.
can't.
Nah.
Yeah, you can't. They dropped the
Literally
service.
took it, and so you can't play that. Caldera is supposed to come out, from my understanding, that you could at least play that, but that never happened.
I mean, people
Wow.
have spent
So now-
$40 for Bruce Willis or Rambo.
It's me too. That's what I'm pissed off.
See?
You know how awesome it was for me to run around that world as John McClane?
Right.
We
and
call
you're-
you
are
Was
John
my
McClane.
gamer tag actually being John McClane? Now I paid all that money.
Yeah.
Done.
And you a sucker fish. Sucker fish.
Oh, bro, I'm pissed.
Sucker fish.
So, guys, listen, we also got a major win in the gaming world. I mean, it's been a long time, 20 years exactly, since the card Kadabra was able to be used in Pokemon.
Oh, wow. I thought we were going to talk about something amazing.
at long
then you
last.
just, like,
After 20 years, Kadabra is back, baby.
Oh man.
I could go back to, I don't know, living life normal, I guess.
Yeah. Well, now I can continue not playing Pokemon trading cards without Kadabra or with him. Yeah.
I wonder if that made the card more valuable.
Ooh. Wonder if it did.
I
Well,
think it
maybe the
did.
one
It's
where
not
it
now, but I think it did at one point. It was very valuable. Holographics and all that bullshit.
Well, I mean, yeah, not to mention, didn't you say it was a magician who did tricks with spoons that sued them over
It's
them
a spoon.
using?
He holds a spoon in the card, or in one of the cards I've seen, he holds a
Right.
spoon.
The magician's like, you're going to make my likeness disappear, baby.
What if he was just hungry? What if he wanted soup?
Right? What if that was his big attack was
Yeah.
Chucky soup?
Yeah. Full of Campbell's.
Donovan McNabb's
McNabb
mom.
pops
Oh,
out.
I love
Yeah.
the reference.
He called McNabb's
Brian
mom.
Urlacher tackles him.
Marvel Snap, baby. There's a player that reached maximum collection level. Has anybody else been trying Marvel Snap?
Yep. Level
Nope.
45.
Level 45, you're the man.
3
I
days.
downloaded it. I
3
haven't
days.
started playing it yet.
It's good, unless you're Rhino. Rhino's a little upset.
Fuck that game.
A bit of the PTSD from that game.
Oh, wait. Why are you so salty? What happened?
It just the time you put into that game versus the rewards you get out of it once you hit a certain level is no longer
Well, it's
worth
a
it.
free game.
There we go. See, that's one of the
It's
reasons
free.
I was
It's
kinda,
a free game. What do you mean? What you put into it? You're playing a free game.
I like it. That's fine.
The time, yeah, my time.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
all that time I spend on Marvel Snap, I could be on
Fortnite getting
Tetris.
up, bro.
You're gonna play
Could be on
Tetris.
Tetris.
Well, I guess you could play Tetris on the throne, but still, you're in the bathroom. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm level 77 right now.
I'm catching you.
I'm enjoying.
I'm
it.
catching you in less than a week.
Well, that was the other update that I was going to in less than a week. Let's bet a crispy dollar on
Okay.
that you're going to. Okay.
All right.
Hold on
you know
there.
I'm crazy. I'll
Alter
do
Ego
it.
Universe. He thinks he's going to get to
30
level
levels.
77.
He's gonna have his heart broken the way I did when you hit level 50 and then you start
I
taking
can't
steps
reach you.
back.
Going up.
I'm going to say that again right now.
He's gonna get real heartbroken once he reaches level 50, 51, and then starts taking those big steps back that he hasn't experienced yet.
I have, dude. I have.
Happens to
I was
everyone.
47. You were in. All right,
there's a
but give
bet.
me an over under
Chris
like
Panther.
10 levels because you're gonna keep playing.
I will give you 10 levels. You won't get within 10 levels of
Oh,
me.
dude. Okay. You don't know how crazy I am. I ain't
But
sleeping
the versus mode and competitive is coming to Marvel Snap. The news that was out today that it's happening today. So we'll see if we get an update later. That'd be cool.
Well, then maybe I'll be downloading it again.
directly.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you the other day. I'm like, can I play you?
Yeah. So after all that happens, you'll be able to play other people directly. In
Oh,
that
I could
game,
be
which
able to
would be
whoop you in person. I love it.
I will absolutely drop my Marvel Snap gamer tag, and you guys can come take me on anytime you want.
Oh, I'm ready. Bring it. I'll play anybody too.
I know my buddy Darren heard that and was like, "Drop the gamer tag." He
Pull
told
up,
me-
son.
Yeah. He's already ready. We were talking about that in the Alter Ego Discord chat, And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm level 80 something." I was like, "Never mind."
I regret my decision.
Yeah. I talked a big game. I will immediately retract that so I don't get this foot any further in my mouth.
He wants none of the smoke.
That's right. You don't want that smoke because then you're smelling like Ford Supply Company, who offers a curated line of craft soaps and beard care handmade in the USA.
I like the back door.
Offering scents like coffee and cream, coconut, citrus, cedarwood, and many more. Check out the full line of craft soap bars, beard oil, and beard balm online at FordSupply.com. Free U.S. shipping on all orders over $35 and get an additional 10% off with the promo code Alter Ego. Ford Soap, real soap.
No bullshit.
Is there anything you guys have played recently that you're like, man, this has been a good game? Something from the past or something you're just diving into in this like slow period of gaming?
We re-downloaded GoldenEye on the Xbox.
I hate you guys.
On the Xbox.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, GoldenEye's available on the Xbox, bro.
Look, from this guy right here. Oh man.
Oh, we're playing tonight.
GoldenEye, baby.
Well, multiplayer's not out yet, but it's going to be out.
What?
Yeah, multiplayer's not there yet, but from what I understand, multiplayer's coming. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to get those dual AK-47s, and I'm busting everybody.
What I'm going to need to do just for nostalgia is get a fridge pack of Diet Coke, sit there and yell at Megan for my pizza rolls or something.
Yeah. Mom!
No odd job.
No odd job for sure.
But don't be Jaws because you'll just be food for the fodder.
Nah, but if you can be good as Jaws.
How?
We'll talk about that after the break. Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about from Marvel and DC. So, quick break. We'll see you guys in just a minute. And we're back. Oh, goodness. Got a little bit of Marvel news before we get into the DC universe. Don't know what to do with your hands. I was going to say, why not?
Are you like praying?
Don't you know what to do? We see that. Hold on. Why?
I don't know.
Jeremy Renner, we got a little bit of an update on his incident. Everybody was saying that maybe he was drunk, that who knew what was happening. He shouldn't be operating the large machinery. Apparently, he was going in to rescue his nephew, who was in immediate danger, and that is why he went into the snowplow. If that's the case, good for you, Jeremy.
Big round of applause for that one for sure.
That takes some guts. That takes him risking his life. Good for you, buddy. Not that we weren't happy that you're feeling better in the first place, but that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
That nephew better have gotten an ass beating of a lifetime.
Well, I'll be the first one to admit I even speculated if he was under the influence of any extracurriculars or if he was in a state of mind where he should not have been operating that machinery. I mean, it was a question that was valid being asked.
Yeah, he has a history, so
it's a very valid question. But now that we have this story, it just makes us feel better that he was being a great human being and not a shitty one.
Yeah. He broke over 30 bones. That's crazy.
I want to know where was his bow and where was his quiver.
Oh boy,
he wouldn't even have to go through all that if he
underneath the track of the.
Jesus,
just pulled one out and blew the thing up. Done.
I mean, that's all he
needed.
Kid
saved.
To do. Why didn't he use the Pemtech? Securing the track. Somebody out there. There's a dude on TikTok. He makes me laugh all the time. He's like, now when I review a lightning strike, and the lightning strike happens, he goes, "Oh wow," and then that's it. He's probably one of my favorite TikTokers. We're gonna watch a little fireworks now. That's a lot of fireworks. Moving on, and then the TikTok ends. Anyway,
TikTok, what an interesting app. What an interesting app that is.
Yeah. We have our first ever MCU star to be nominated for an Oscar. Did we talk about that?
No.
We have not. We talked about it in the chat, but we did not talk about it on here.
Angela Bassett. You sound like you've got a lot to say on that one, Ryan.
Bro, it looks like this guy's about to boom.
No, I mean, I don't know. To me, like I said.
Yes, you do.
Oh, no. He knows.
Oh, I know.
He knows.
It feels like absolute pandering, and I don't want it.
Preach.
It does.
Because her role in that was not great. After all the things that Angela Bassett's been in, and she's never gotten an Oscar nomination
and did she get one for that?
You know what I mean? That's just ridiculous.
Like pandering for sure.
Yeah, 110%. Like I said, I don't think they didn't do it the first time because, I mean, Chadwick would have been completely obvious. You know what I mean? Like, can't give everybody in Black Panther
And that one actually might have been more justifiable than this one because Chadwick Boseman's performance in the first one was good.
Yeah, it was great.
I haven't been the biggest fan.
I'm not sure if justifiable is right. I just don't see why she got the nomination for this.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I can't think of anything else in the MCU that I'm like, this moment deserves an Oscar. The only part that's really made me feel something really serious was in the first Spider-Man when he's trapped under the rubble and he's panicking. I was like, damn, Tom Holland, get it. That was great. But that's one moment, not throughout the entire movie. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, Ryan. I think it's a little bit of a pandering. I hope she gets it. I mean, that's not her fault.
No, not at all.
Shit,
if they're gonna give them, I'll take them. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and get it, bro. But it's just,
would you rather felt like you earned it? I don't know. I guess that's not the right word.
To an extent,
she feels like she earns it.
She showed up. She showed up. She played her role. She earned it. She gets the trophy. Then she earned it.
Earning it wasn't the right word.
It's just one of those things where they're gonna probably put her up there and she's not gonna get a single vote. You know what I mean? Like some weird thing. Like what's the girl that everything is nothing or what?
Everything everywhere all at once.
Exactly. She's gonna end up losing to her.
Yeah. Well, she can't be the best supporting actress and the best. Sorry,
not making sense here. I'm just talking out of my ass.
You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah. Here's a bit of a discussion piece. It's obvious for this guy to say this, Kevin Feige. We trust in Feige. We trust. He made the comment that he doesn't think people will get sick of comic book movies because obviously every major director and some even big stars are saying they'll fade out, they'll be gone. What do we think? Do we agree with Feige?
Yes.
That you don't think it'll get old?
No. As long as it's quality, and we've seen the MCU do this wonderfully. They've acquired Fox, so we're not going to see any more shit Fox movies.
Right.
Sony is continuing to make their shit movies, but I think they're going to pump the brakes the more they see those MCU checks rolling in. And now we're seeing a DCU reset with James Gunn, who is obviously known to make good quality pictures with the Guardians of the Galaxy. If they continue to make quality movies and quality content, we're not going to get sick of them.
I think at this point it's its own genre, right? Like you have Western, you have comedy, you have all. Now superhero is its own genre of movie.
I don't think it'll get like tiresome. I think it could get watered down. People will still watch it because of the superhero aspect, but if you don't give me something fresh, something new, like you can't keep beating the same characters. Okay, we've gotten our Captain Americas, we've gotten the Avengers. Give me something new. You get what I'm saying?
That's what you're getting right now. That's full on what you're getting right now.
I'm 100%. Not even gonna hold you. After this whole phase so far that's going through, I don't know if I really care too much about superhero movies anymore. I'm starting to get burnt out on them, especially after Black Adam. Now the Shazam's turned around right after it.
As he wears his Superman shirt.
Bro, it was the first thing that was clean.
Right. I agree with Feige. I don't think that these are going anywhere, and I personally think this phase is getting so much more attention. When Phase 1, Thor 1, Captain America: The First Avenger, the first Iron Man was the first real banger. After those, it was like, okay, they're building stories, they're going into something, but it didn't drive me crazy. I wasn't like, oh, these are the greatest movies ever. I was more like, this is cool that we're seeing Thor. This is cool that Captain America's here. So now all these big mainstream characters and this precedence, this pedestal is set so high that when you see something that's similar in those building blocks, you're looking at it like, oh, this sucks. No, it doesn't suck. It's building towards something, and we just haven't gotten there yet. That's my opinion.
I don't know if it's just the building, because I think the first time it happened, like I said, I don't think they necessarily had a plan for it right away.
Sure.
And it happened to envelop. So we got that technically. The first thing we got was by accident. So and it just happened to work out. Now that it's planned, it just like, I don't know.
The MCU was planned, and this was all laid out. Feige was hired when Iron Man came out, and they said as a group, if Iron Man does well, then we can continue. So that maybe
they had a vision. They had a vision.
Maybe the production and all that stuff didn't fall in the way it's going to now, but I don't know.
But when Feige made Iron Man, he had a vision for Avengers and a Thanos story arc and all of that stuff. They just they hoped that Iron Man would have worked out, and when it did, they're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Here's why the superhero genre that you're talking about will never die. You're only thinking Marvel and DC. Think of all the other superheroes that we haven't seen, that we haven't gotten stories for, that are still to be even created. All the comic books that are out there of all these superheroes. The content can be fresh. It's just a matter of being able to adapt it from one way to another and making people happy with the product that you adapt in live action.
Yeah. So speaking of making people happy, as we get off of that topic, there's somebody else who wants to make Nello very happy, and that's Tobey Maguire.
Let's go, Tobey!
He wants to come back as Spider-Man. I don't know why these are considered news. It still drives me crazy.
Oh, isn't that the same guy that swore that he would never do it again?
No, but did he? I don't think he did.
He didn't say that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think Tobey Maguire was one of
never
those.
wanted to play Spider-Man again.
No, he didn't say that.
San Raimi. That's why they canned him.
I just think it's because Tobey Maguire was a bad Spider-Man.
You shut your mouth.
He's not just a bad Spider-Man. He's a bad actor. Name the last Tobey Maguire movie.
Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
Are you kidding me right now?
Of course the fuck he wants to play Spider-Man. He's getting those MCU checks.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Of course he does. Well, yeah, we know you do. And Marvel has made it possible.
There is no Tom Holland without Tobey Maguire. End of story.
False.
And
there's no Tobey Maguire without Wesley Snipes. I mean, we can go back. How far do you want to go back with this?
Right. There's no Wesley Snipes without
Adam West.
Yeah. Without taxes. There's no Adam West without Zorro, baby.
That's true.
No, I mean, I could see Tobey Maguire making a comeback. I mean, they played it very well in the Spider-Man movie.
It was very cool.
They've got more multiversal storylines coming up with the Kang story arc, so I can see it happen. He's never going to be a main storyline Spider-Man again. He's too old, and we have Tom Holland. So
he can be. He can be the one who teaches Miles.
That would be cool. That would be probably
sick
for him. That would be the best role for him.
That would be a good role.
That's actually, you know what? That's actually a brilliant fucking idea. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yep. Marvel, go ahead. Let's wait a check. Sony,
it's already been talked.
Give me cash. Let's go.
It's already been talked about.
Shut up. I want it.
No, you
Wait,
I did think of it first. No one else ever had that thought ever in life.
Ever.
Can we pause for a second?
Sure.
Black Rhino?
Black Rhino.
What the fuck is that shit?
But Tobey Maguire, there's been fan art of him as old Spider-Man, old man Peter Parker, and doing the kind of Miles Morales thing. That's a great idea.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. For those of you in audio land, Ryan set his name up on the video as Black Rhino, which, by the way, go check out the YouTube. So we mentioned Kang just moments ago in getting multiple versions. The Ant-Man writer says that Kang is, to put it in perspective, the infinite Thanos. Do we believe that statement?
I mean, they said he was in Moon Knight.
Kang was. There's probably a nod to him in some way, shape,
one
or form.
Of those gods.
Well, no, because he is in many of his iterations. He has been major and pharaoh in ancient Egyptian times.
So back to the point. Yes, I do believe he could be an infinite Thanos. And we talked about this on the Kang the Conqueror special. Check out our YouTube channel.
Yep.
There are way too many versions of Kang.
Yeah.
You beat one, you're going to find one that can beat you. It's
you're
that simple.
One, and there's going to be somebody who was studying that Kang and knew how you beat that Kang, and that's how they come back and beat you. Benefit, on the thought that they're all malevolent and have evil purposes in mind. But
now is it the same Kang as an actor, or will he change and be different?
No, same guy.
Yeah, it'll be the same guy.
That's not true. There are different versions of him that look different. Yes,
like the Pharaoh guy is supposed to be like some sort of hippo-looking thing or whatever that they showed.
No,
and that's not true.
Not if you watch Moon Knight. It's two different entities.
Another thing, if you think about it too, is Thanos. His entire point in the MCU, if you're looking at it from just an MCU perspective, his entire point was to collect the Infinity Stones. What did we see in the TVA? How pointless were the Infinity Stones?
Paperweight.
Yeah. That alone should tell you that if we're talking just the MCU, that alone should tell you that Kang is a much bigger threat than Thanos ever was.
seeing as how the TVA was created by him. And when you thought about that, that just that puts the perspective out there, because that's like the guy who says, I'm gonna take over this block, and then the guy who's like, I'm gonna own this city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's your difference there. Thanos is the I'm gonna take the block in wanting to eliminate half of life in the universe. Kang is all the multiverses. Interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp and whatever it is now.
There was a guy that I forget his name. I saw him on TikTok that saw 2 images from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and he said that it came from a verified source from Marvel, and he said there were 2 entities that they showed that they have not shown in previews yet so far, and that the images were so shocking and so crazy that he thought it may have not even been a valid image that he was looking at until the guy was like, yeah, no, that's real. So apparently there are some characters and some things that happen in Ant-Man that nobody is ready for.
I'll be ready.
I know
it's going to be Blade.
You know why you're going to be ready? Because
it is Blade.
We're going to wake you up and be like, Ryan, you never believe what just happened.
Yeah.
Huh?
Ryan, get up and look. Look what's on the screen.
Did you
The
hear
70-foot screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys said his name and I didn't realize it, but like I said, I'm a little more hyped now. Jonathan Majors is playing Kang.
Dude, come on.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good old
Didn't you watch Loki?
Yes, and I didn't register.
Yeah, same guy.
Did not register.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
And I think it's because I watched The Harder They Fall again recently, so I was like, oh, that guy, I like him.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's also going to be in Creed 3.
And he's also playing some bodybuilder, so he's going to be yoked.
I think he should play
He's
Mike
yoked in Creed 3.
Yeah.
He would look
Have
good
you seen the trailer for it, dude? He's jacked in Creed 3.
And I guess he's also playing another role where he's like a bodybuilder or something. So he's like,
Yeah, well, he should, because he's monstrous.
So.
Yeah. Poor guy getting paid millions of dollars to work out.
And read lines. Must be hard.
Jeez. Ew.
Almost so.
Anyway, we're gonna move on before our jaded perspective bleeds into the show. So we talked about this at the beginning. Let's talk about it now. DC, James Gunn came out on Twitter and talking about all the things that DC wants to do. So we have the list of shows and properties, and some of them that are, some of them that aren't on this list. And let's go through and talk about what we want. Do you have the timeline list over there, Rhino?
I can get it. Go ahead and keep going. I'll get it.
Go ahead. All right. So, things that were announced by James Gunn. And first of all, he said that a couple of things about the DCU that are happening that are kind of just already in production. Like, first of all, Teen Titans and Doom Patrol. Those were canceled before new DC leadership. So people who are pissed at James Gunn and DC for canceling those, not their fault, not something that they did. But he says this is not the MCU, which I'd like to hear that out of James Gunn. Stop trying to be something that you're not, right? They're taking it a totally different route. They're using some of the current films and keeping them in those roles. They did mention that Jason Momoa is only playing one role in the new DCU. So people were talking about him being Lobo and being Aquaman. I don't think you're going to get you're going to get Lobo from Jason Momoa, as much as he loves him. But let's talk about some of the things they wanted to bring forward. First of all, Superman Legacy. That is a new Superman movie that's going to be coming out that he said he's in the middle of writing it. Henry Cavill will not be in that movie.
I'm playing Superman. That's why I wear the shirt.
That's right.
They cut the check.
I'm his manager, so if you'd like to discuss, please go ahead and contact us at the Alter Ego Podcast.
Batman, The Brave and the Bold, which is a story circling Bruce Wayne, Batman, which will be the DCU Batman, from what we were told by Mr. Gunn. The Batman and the Joker and all that other stuff are going to stay in DC, but they will not be a part of the DCU. And this,
if we could touch on that for a quick second too.
Yeah,
that I thought was, because there was a lot of speculation going into his announcement whether Matt Reeves' Batverse was ever going to have a part of this, any of the other outside entities were going to have a part, and he made it clear that there's going to be a new Batman.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves' Batman is going to be a separate entity. It's going to be its own DC universe. I like that. I like that he gave clarification of what his plan was specifically for the characters in question. So I thought that was pretty cool of him.
Yeah, and this is going to feature Damian Wayne. Now, there have been 3 Robins in the history of Batman, really. There's been Jason Todd. There has been Dick Grayson, who then graduated to be Nightwing. And then there is Damian Wayne, who is the son of Batman, and Talia al Ghul, who is Ra's al Ghul's daughter. And Damian is a little assassin. He is full of attitude, very confident, has no qualms about killing people. And obviously Batman feels very differently. And Talia, in order to keep Damian safe and keep him away from his grandfather and keep him and make him not a monster, sends him to live with Daddy Bruce. This is one I'm excited about because I love Damian Wayne. He is my favorite Robin. No disrespect. I love Red Hood. I love Jason Todd. Nightwing. Dick Grayson. Okay. But Damian Wayne as Robin is probably one of my favorite characters in the DC universe. So I'm excited to see where they go with that. Then they had Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. They talked about this in brief detail. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. They said Kal-El being Superman, sent to the Earth to be its protector and live under the yellow sun and be all about justice and the right thing. Supergirl, however, was raised on a piece of Krypton floating out in space and was raised and saw everybody around her die and then came to Earth. So she is going to be a very tortured character.
I'm glad that this is going a little darker than like Superman. I really think that's a good move on the creators, James Gunn and the other guy's part.
The words that James Gunn actually used to describe her is, this is a fucked up version of Supergirl.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what he said. It's a fucked up version of Supergirl.
I don't know if I need that.
I do, man. We need something.
Oh, different. I need that all day. Because Superman is great, but it's the same with Captain America. The same golden boy routine really does get old after a while.
100.
Once in a while, you need that guy to just go scorched earth.
That's why I was saying I would hope for the one where Superman version where he wants to kill everybody. He's just like
Injustice.
Yeah.
That's the Injustice storyline. Yeah,
but if this does well, you can get that
because Supergirl plays a massive part in that storyline, so you could get it. Although I don't think that's I think DC should play with the offshoot stories and be forthcoming about that. I think that would be one thing. Somebody else who was mentioned for a movie, and this is the one I am the most excited about of every single announcement. And they mentioned almost every DC property coming back. Swamp Thing. They were talking about Swamp Thing getting a movie and it being true horror and them investigating the dark origins of Swamp Thing. The TV show was good. I don't know why people don't like it or why I know why it got canceled, which was a whole state thing with the state of North Carolina. Look it up. But Swamp Thing has such potential to be an amazing horror property. It just, if you watch some of the scenes that came out in that WB and the uncut stuff that they did, Swamp Thing is going to be so legit.
I think that could be a way that we get Constantine into the DCU as well.
Sure. Constantine and Swamp Thing have gone back and forth several times. Swamp Thing is what I would call in the comic book universe, or like if any of you play D&D out there, you have your lawful good, your chaotic good, your, what is it? Lawful, chaotic, and neutral. And then you have good, evil, and neutral. Swamp Thing is the true lawful neutral of anything out there. He doesn't care if you're good. He doesn't care if you're bad. He cares about what happens to the green. And if he gets involved, it's kind of a problem. So I'm a big fan of Swamp Thing.
Now, this going on where they said that some of these people or the universes are going to be separate. Is Constantine one that's going to...
They didn't announce Constantine. He didn't announce it for Chapter 1. But the reason why I even brought Constantine up is because his exact words when talking about Swamp Thing were, it's going to be like a standalone story, but it's still going to tie into the DCU somewhat. Like it's still going to move the story forward. And the only thing I could think of is Constantine. That's the only reason why it would move that story forward.
Well, I think, and not in terms of.
Well, I mean, I was thinking more so like we're gonna get Keanu again. Is there potential?
Well, he's already talking about wanting to do Constantine too, but I don't see him in a DCU.
Isn't one of their first shows all about the MonsterVerse and how he's opening the door for that? Like,
well, here that was another thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that he said that all people who are playing their characters on the big screen or the little screen, their characters will bleed over into animated specials as well, and who plays them on the big screen will play them in the animated feature. So clearly they're being very direct in their expectations with their actors. We're not going to get these things where you have, Rocket and Groot and all those guys being the Guardians of the Galaxy. Then you get the animated series and it's all just random people, so you don't care about it. And he said that things that happen in these animated things will be canon over into the DCU.
That's what I wanted to comment on real quick too. Is I don't want to say he's taking a chapter out of the MCU's book, because the MCU has done their own thing. They've done it very well. But the one thing that he has at his advantage is he is seeing what the MCU is doing now in terms of TV shows and things of that nature tying into the cinematic universe of Marvel. I think that's going to be one of his advantages going forward with the DCU being successful, is everything tying in with each other.
With everything.
You could have smaller characters making their debut on television or in animation or in video games. You get a little bit of their story there. So when they finally do hit the theaters, you're like, oh yeah, I saw that guy on this show, or I saw that guy in this animated feature. You're not introducing fresh characters that don't have an origin story, and people are like, oh, who the hell is this guy? So I think that'll play in his favor very well.
I also think it's going to be a great way to tell stories and save on a lot of budget, because you can have very big scale things happen in cartoon that happen in the real world that you don't need to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars. Think of the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, that whole beginning with Yondu and the ship and all that stuff. That's all CGI. They did it in cartoon, and that probably saved a ton of money doing it.
CGI is really expensive. But I was gonna say, do the average moviegoers, though, that especially when it comes to DC, do they actually watch animated short? Like, are they gonna watch animated TV shows?
Oh, DC makes the best animation out of anybody, dude. DC's animated universe outdoes Marvel's tenfold.
Right, but that's not what we're saying. Right.
I watch that.
Right.
Is Joe Schmo gonna be watching those?
Right.
And that's what I think is a little different when it comes to Disney, and it's a whole production as a show that they can watch on Disney Plus that they pay $7 for. Okay. But if I have to go hunt down,
we're not talking about quality of content. We're talking about more accessibility of content, and will the casual viewer,
that's what I'm saying,
go out of their way to
watch a cartoon? Is what I'm saying.
Well, I think HBO Max is going to turn into what Disney Plus is for Marvel. HBO Max is going to be that outlet for these shows and these animated features for the DCU. So, I mean, I guess it's how big of a fan.
Already expired with HBO.
That was Amazon producing animated features. I see. That's something we have to look into. I don't know if that ties in with James Gunn's DCU or if that's something separate.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know where that's going to end up going, but we got to move through these. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Waller is another one that's going to be a series that follows Amanda Waller, starring Viola Davis, who's been Amanda Waller since the beginning. It'll feature a lot of people from Team Peacemaker, not Peacekeeper. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully she teams up with Vigilante.
I was saying, do we get a single Vigilante show?
No, we don't. We get Booster Gold, who is a guy from the future.
I'm excited.
Who has future technology, but he's kind of a loser. So comes back in time to be a valid superhero. That'll be very interesting.
Bro, Booster Gold sounds like a rapper.
He does.
I would listen to his album. Creature Commandos is the one you were talking about. That's the animated feature that talks about a team made up of monstrous prisoners. Sounds like exactly what James Gunn loves. That sounds like his whole deal. And then two more that are very exciting that I want to see. One of them is Lanterns, which good news, Lantern fans. This is going to be about Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Yes.
I have wanted John Stewart, Green Lantern, in the DC universe forever. I think show 4 or 5 of the Alter Ego podcast was our show just simply talking about Jon Stewart. This is a fantastic character, and they're doing different tones of it. They say this is going to be like True Detective, and the Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart are going to be uncovering the big dark mystery, probably tying into Swamp Thing, that the entire DCU will be dealing with.
I'm ready. If it's True Detective like they say, I'm ready.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is like not everything needs to follow the same formula. And I think James Gunn really gets that and appreciates it. The last one is Paradise Lost, which is set in Themyscira, which is the homeland of Wonder Woman. And it's not clear if she's going to be the star in it quite yet, but it's going to take place there. And he says it's basically a drama focused on the genesis and political intrigue of the island of women at Themyscira, and that it will be very Game of Thronesy.
So Peter Safran came out and said that the storyline of Paradise Island is actually going to be pre-Diana. So it'll be the events that happened before Diana is born.
Wow.
But you did forget one though. The Authority.
Oh, The Authority. Yes.
The Authority. That one is the one that that's the one that I am excited about the most, is The Authority. I think that's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, this sounds like, to me, like The Boys. Sounds like DC's version of The Boys.
Yeah, it's a superhero team up. They have different kinds of powers,
and they all have different ideas of how the world should be run and use their powers to impose that will on people. So sounds like The Boys to me.
And there is a storyline that ties, because for the most part, The Authority is a completely standalone series.
Yeah.
Separate from the DC, but there is a storyline that ties them in with the DC. I think you eventually see that. It's with Superman, so
I'm sure. And they haven't cast a Superman yet. They haven't cast a lot of these actors. So this is all preliminary talks, nothing to really get excited about quite yet.
Nothing on that list honestly excites me. Except
for
the Lanterns.
No, some of the stuff is pretty good.
Except for the Lanterns.
The Lanterns excites me, and Swamp Thing obviously excites me. But the things that we know now for DC is that Shazam is making his way into the DCU. Zachary Levi, because he's always been separated from everything other than a chest down shot of Superman. Aquaman 2 will lead into the DCU.
Have they confirmed that it would be Zachary Levi though? For
yes,
it is.
And they also said that the first one that's coming out is Ezra Miller's Flash movie. Gunn says that's one of the greatest superhero movies he's ever seen.
I bet he said
I'm
that.
sure he did.
I bet he fucking said that.
But that will reset the entire DC universe, and that Aquaman 2 will then lead into the stories of the DCU.
Superman being the first one that comes out for the DCU,
which is the start of DCU content.
Yep.
Aquaman 2. Aquaman. So Jason Momoa, my money says Momoa is going to stay as Aquaman and keep going.
No, he is. That's the plan. Is that Aquaman 2 is actually the first DCU movie, right, because it's going to tie into the DCU, but the first actual James Gunn led project will be Superman.
Right.
Yeah, he's writing that now, he said, right? And he's enjoying every minute of it.
I'm sure he is. I mean,
that's what he said.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just one of those things, man. Like,
how can we make another Superman movie that I haven't seen and that doesn't suck?
That's gonna be hard. Especially
Man of Steel was amazing, dude.
They're good.
Like,
they're
here's
good.
my question.
Superman to me is just not compelling.
I've never finished it. I always get halfway through it and I just fall asleep.
Do you think there will be like an actor, like the next Superman is going to start at a disadvantage because you want Henry Cavill to be Superman? So it's going to be big shoes to fill for the guy who comes next.
I think this whole thing is big shoes to fill, but it's also a big opportunity because everybody knows it's not going to be Henry Cavill. So a lot of things are going to change going into it. Honestly, I think there's no expectations for the DCU right now. None. I mean, people that other than DCU fanboys and DC fanboys that are really excited to see their heroes back, which I feel for you guys. You're not hurt.
Quick question for you though. Who has bigger shoes to fill? Is it whoever plays Superman or whoever plays Batman?
Superman.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Superman, the uproar when he said he's not coming back, and when they
but I understand that, but the reason why I think it's Batman is because you had arguably the greatest trilogy in comic book movies ever with the Dark Knight series. You had Batfleck, who was
the DCU,
Right.
not part of the DCU. You had Batfleck, who we have talked to the show religiously as probably the greatest combination Bruce Wayne Batman we've seen on the screen. And then you had Matt Reeves Batman, which everyone loves. So you're now introducing another Batman.
That's why I think the standards could not be any lower. I think comic book universe, almost more so than Tony Stark, has Batman fucking fatigue. They are sick of the caped fucking Crusader. We've had 8 of them. It feels like at this point, there's so many different iterations of him that I don't care.
And they're always the same.
And no, they're not always the same. But it's Batman. Anytime there's a legitimate threat, all Batman's going to do is go, now hit him with your left. Now hit him with your right. Now I put something in your pocket that's really going to help you in this fight. I'm sick of it. Can we just move on from Batman and let Pattinson and the other side deal with the more legitimate Batman threats?
That's why I think Batman has the bigger shoes to fill, because of that exact response right there. Because if he comes out and is even at a 75% enjoyable level, people are going to be disappointed with that. This Batman needs to hit on the same level that Matt Reeves' Batman needs to hit in order for James Gunn to be successful.
This Batman that he's talking about, I don't even think Batman is going to be a main character, but I think the story is going to be Robin. That's what's going to refresh the whole thing. That's why I'm not like, oh my God, this is amazing, but I'm excited. Because DC is stepping off a ledge, but they've got nothing to lose, man. Right. Let's go different and let's see what we can do. Because everything they've done, this rehash crap hasn't worked.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you start with the 3rd iteration of Robin too. You didn't even go with. We haven't seen a Robin in forever in any of these.
Right.
So why wouldn't you start with at least James Todd and then
Jason Todd?
But you've seen Ra's al Ghul and you've seen his daughter, so you have a premise to look at. You see, these guys were crazy assassin killers. You can build off that.
But he's way down the line.
That's what I'm saying.
Jason Todd.
You know what? I'm just pissed they didn't bring back Chris O'Connell.
Point.
I was thinking the same thing.
In this instance, though, I agree with you, Ryan. It's like you don't need Batman to be anybody.
No.
Let him be a background character.
Supporting actor.
And then
supporting character.
Like I've said before, I would love to finally get like a teenage kid playing Terry McGinnis and give me Batman Beyond. I don't even want to see another Batman or a Batman Robin. I'd rather see something in that Spider-Man realm where it's a young kid trying to become the
I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, like, Batman, Superman, I feel, has the biggest shoes to fill, because even as a Marvel fanboy, Superman is it. Superman is the comic book character. Other than the only one who could really compete with him, in my personal opinion, is Spider-Man. And Superman is the guy. So to put somebody in that role and say, okay, Henry Cavill just did this. Everybody really liked him. And Superman is our flagship. Boom. Flag in the ground. We're following this guy as Superman because he's the big power in the DC universe. There's so much to try to accomplish with him. I have this poster of him in Dark Knight's death metal, and I'm just looking up at him like, dude, why can't they do that version of him? Anyway, DCU. Is it back? Do we have faith that James Gunn is going to do anything with it?
That's what I was going to ask.
I have faith.
What are you guys thinking? Like, are you like? I know some of us have mixed feelings, but like, it's a little bit refreshing. That's the only thing I take from this, is that they're new ideas. They're not freaking rehashes,
and they're new characters.
I'll give it a chance. I mean, hey, let's see what happens.
Bring back Gal. That's all I'm saying. Bring back Gal. That's it.
Yeah, for real.
Reset the whole damn thing. I don't care.
I need those cheeks back.
It's all about clapping cheeks, bro. Have you not? Black Ryan over here says it every week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here at the Alter Ego Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 134. Finally, DC in the news in a positive way. Excited to see it. Excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which is right around the corner. I think it's like, 2.5 weeks away?
2 more weeks away.
17th, right?
Woo!
Yeah, 17th. Yep.
All right, gang. Nello, Ryan, Black Rhino, thank you so much for showing up and being a part of the show. We'll see you.
Hold on a second. Now, because he's Black Rhino, I'm not even regular Rhino?
No. Sorry.
Cultural appropriation, bro. That's what happens.
You've been gentrified.
Ryano. How about that?
Ryano.
Okay.
This got off the rails now.
All right, boys.
I'm going to make my flow Rhino next week.
To make mine not Rhino. And Nello can be
Nello.
Oh boy.
I'm not allowed for any other names.
A lot of excitement on that one.
Oh wow.